So, today is the last day of BookTube-A-Thon 2017, and I got a lot done, guys. Just a lot done. But before all of that, I am going to do today's challenge, and it is talking about a book or a reading experience that has meant a lot to you, and actually, the book that I'm choosing is in this stack of pile of books that I read for BookTube-A-Thon, and it's The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. It was back in like 4th grade, 3rd or 4th grade when I started reading this, and I loved this series. Like, I was hooked. It was amazing. It was so great. I basically just saw this at a bookstore one day and was like, it looks super cool, I'm gonna try it. And fell in love with Percy and with the series, because let's be honest, you can't read this book and not fall in love with Percy Jackson, because he's just... at that point in time in my life, I was extremely bullied. Like, yeah. And by the time I got into 5th grade, I met this girl named Kaylin George, and we became really good friends because we bonded over this series. Like, we made a game kind of like chess in a way, but it had all the different characters, so it was like Annabeth instead of the queen, or you would have like the Minotaur on a different... It was really cool, and yeah, so we made this game, we bonded over these books, and then we ended up bonding over Harry Potter books, and then just talking about reading or a whole bunch of other nerdy things, and for the first time in my life, I felt like someone actually cared about my weirdness and wasn't just like annoyed by it. Yeah, for the first time, I had a friend that actually didn't try changing me, and didn't try making it seem like I was weird or that I needed to be different and be like everyone else. I don't talk about these things very often. I'm the person that bottles things up. It's cool. But yeah, so these books definitely changed that part of my life, and even though I ended up going, after that, I ended up going into middle school, and I no longer had Kaylin as a friend, and I no longer, and I went through some of the worst bullying years of my life. Middle school sucks, guys. Middle school sucks. I definitely just had that feeling underneath of being like, you know what, I actually need to find more people like that like me for who I am. So rereading these, it just kind of brought up all those memories, which... yeah, good and bad, but overall they made me who I am, and that's all that matters. So now, with that sad story, let's get on into the wrap-up. Oh, good grief, all these books are falling. First one that I read was Because You Love to Hate Me, which is a whole, like, bind-up of 13 different short stories by 13 authors who were paired with 13 booktubers, and it's edited by Amory. Yeah, and that was 339 pages. Then I read this short little collection of Irish fairy and folk tales, which was, I dropped that, 132 pages. This is Candide by Voltaire. I pronounced that wrong. Probably. But that was 87 pages, so that was a nice little short read. Then we get into the Percy Jackson. So we got Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan, which was 375 pages. I'm looking at this little notepad that I wrote all the pages and the totals and everything, so... Yep! Thought this through! Then read The Sea of Monsters by Rick Riordan, which is the second one in this series, and that is 279 pages. Moved on into The Titan's Curse by Rick Riordan, the third one in the series, which is 312 pages. Then, I didn't read this full thing, because I had already started reading this out loud to the kids that I babysit. But we ended up, this week, I finished it with them. So if you include this into the total, which I do because I'm reading it out loud to little kids, it's like a dream come true for me. That was 97 pages I read with them. Then read The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace, which is just beautiful and wonderful and okay. I always get emotional thinking about that one because it's just so beautiful. And that was 199 pages. Then, once again, I didn't read this full thing during BookTube-A-Thon because I had read some of it before last week. But I still had... I already calculated this. Why am I looking through it? I had 116 pages left of this to read. So I just did that today because... why not? And then also today I read Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan, the fourth in the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, which is 361 pages, which brings the total to, looking over again, 2,303 pages that I read in all of BookTube-A-Thon. But now onto the reading challenges to see which ones I finished. So, person with a book on the cover. I mean, you got this one, you got this one, you got this one because you got little Harry over here, got this one, got this one, got this one. I don't think this one has a person on the cover, but I can't see the cover, so it might. Maybe. Yes, second reading challenge. Read a hyped book. I know I originally chose this one as my hyped book because there's just been a lot going on about it on BookTube because it has booktubers involved. Challenge 3 was finish a book in one day. Okay. So this one I started before, this one I started before, this one I read in 2 days, and then every other thing, all of these other books, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books I read in one day. Like, not all 7 in one day, but like, I read each book individually in one day. 4, read a book about a character that is very different from you. Okay, well, again, all of Percy Jackson counts because he's a half-blood and also male. Okay, cool. Wizard, male. Male, older detective. Strange, weird male guy. Next one was finish a book completely outdoors. Now this one, I like the outdoors, but unless I find a good spot to read at my college campus, I have this beautiful spot that I love to read at, but if I don't find a nice spot to read, I find it very hard to read outside because I get very distracted by everything around me. So I chose a very small book because I'm like, I don't want to be out there for too long. And I did The Princess Saves Herself in this one by Amanda Lovelace. I read this all outside today. 6, read a book you bought because of the cover. Oh, good grief. Well, this one I bought because of the cover because it reminded me so much of Milk and Honey. And then the last one is read 7 books. I read 10, so check. And now my corner of the internet is gonna close for the day. So, see you guys next time. Bye! Oh, that was an awesome roll. Oh my gosh. I have never been more proud of my ninjaless skills.